Hello and welcome to Gameblab, the game where we blab, the show where we blab about game. I don't even know what we are anymore. Today we are talking about the absolutely goddamn amazing, newly released fan translation for Dragon Quest Monsters 2 3DS edition, Cobitara's Marvelous Magnificent Key. I hope I've remembered that correctly because it's an overly long title. It's like intensely supposed to be hilariously long. Like in Japanese, it's like it's not even like it's like fushigi no ki, and it's just like okay. So in Japanese, like the slang that people use for this is iruluka. Because like the full name is like way too long, and that's just the names and the characters smashed together. It's like Iru is supposed to be the girl on there, and Luca is supposed to be the boy. And yeah, so I propose my suggestion for the court is that our English slang should be Cobitara because those are the names that the characters were given in English. Immediately off the bat, I really enjoy the random detail that they have slightly different animations for waving. The boy just waves and the girl waves, but also does a little jump every now and again. I also like, but I'm not really sure why, is how the gender options are like very different rather than being like gendered options of the same character. And I think like I've heard that apparently the characters are like siblings, so I wonder if you're the one you don't pick will actually turn up as like a sibling character in the plot, similar to like how the rival you don't pick how the character you don't pick turns out to be a rival in Pokemon Gen 3. That was really cool. But yeah, as you can see, they have like quite different designs. Like the boy seems to be older and taller, and like has like wildly different outfits for both of them and everything. Has a different skin tone and stuff. And I think I really like the girl's design the best because her big hat is just so cool. And I appreciate that they have like a female option for a character. This game originally I forgot to even mention this game is the 3DS remake of a really old game. I'm not sure if it came out before Pokemon Crystal or not, but it was like one of the earlier monster collecting games which let you have a girl option, which is bizarre that like pretty much all of the DQM sequels after this didn't let you have a girl option. I don't think there is a single one at all which lets you have a girl option, which sucks. Like they gave you something and then they take it away. So I'm glad that the remake has come out and they haven't like taken away the girl option. I really appreciate too that the girl option, like considering the time it was made in, the girl option isn't like the overly pink option which is only for stereotypical blah blah blah, this is what a girl has to be, etc. Like her theme colour is green, her outfit has got loads of personality and it isn't just a pink thing. Her outfit has more personality in it than the dude's done. I just love it. I love a giant goddamn hat. And like yeah, and also on the box art for this game, I'll fly an image of that across the screen right now. On the box art of this game, they pick some random monsters to show each character with. Like obviously, when you play the game, you can have whichever monster on your team you want. But I appreciate that they chose they were like, oh, the girl has to have the girlish monsters or whatever. Which considering how old this game is, I really appreciate that. They just drew Kara with like a whole bunch of green monsters, and that was awesome. And I really love that and I appreciate that and it's good. Yeah. I'm shoving a thumbs up through the screen just for like the very minor thing of having a girl whose favourite colour is green, not pink. Like, the bar is just so low for like overly stereotypical straightness upholding games. I love it. I like especially how the remake is not removing the good and positive parts from the original, because in a lot of ways we have progressed past stereotypes, in a lot of ways we have gotten even worse in the video games industry, so I like it, it's good. Anyway, we are picking Kara because she's cool. And because it's the only DQM where you can pick a girl option, so I'm not gonna like go and not pick the girl option, that would suck. And here is the thing that I didn't even know about before I started, so I'd gotten so hyped for. This game lets you not only have a character, but have a custom monster. It is so weird how you can't customize your character, but you can customize your monster. That is just awesome. And I like the pun in the name there. Yeah, your Montner, your monster partner. I love that. It's cute. It's adorable. I love it. I do have quite a few criticisms and comments and suggestions to make about the way they executed the monster customization. Like, it's not particularly good, but like I love the option that it's just there. I feel like I hope like maybe if we because so far at the moment this is the final DQM game that's come out, and like I hope if we someday get a new DQM game on the Switch, I hope maybe they will bring this feature back and like expand upon it a bit more, develop it a bit more, maybe take into suggesting my suggestions. What was I even trying to say? I think I stumbled over 5 words in that sentence. Anyway, let's excite. Yeah, you can click on this so you can get a bunch of randomized ones. Let's have a look at that. As you can see, so actually some of those choices are like very aesthetically pleasing. I do quite like the one on the left, but yeah, as you can see a bunch of options if you can just click on random. We're going to do it now, but then we're going to customize ours. You can see some rather eclectic options. And here you can kind of see the problem building in. The problem is that a lot of the parts that you can mix and match with don't really match or mix with each other. It's more developed in a kind of way where they have like 5 preset monster types and then you can mix and match the pieces from them, but they didn't really like think to like change things on the parts to like make them go together well. It is kind of very clear that there are like 5 preset monster types that you are supposed to do here, and whenever you mix and match them they look very not fitting. As you can see for the one on the left there, that's what you tend to get when you try and mix and match, which is a shame because it just like it reduces your capacity for actual customization. And you can change the colours of the parts, but they still don't fit in very well together because you can change the colour of the parts, but you can't. I'll move on. I'll talk about this when we get to it. It's better to have visual examples on screen of what we mean here. Anyway, here we have our preset up, and here, as you can see, stage number 1 of why this isn't necessarily good is because you can't freely mix and match any of the parts. You have to go through these presets. Each one has like entirely unique parts to it, and for a lot of these, I feel like the parts that they give you would have worked better on one of the other presets, or if you were just able to mix and match them between any of them. The magician type has like a weird like skull centaur legs thing that I think would work so much better on some of the other ones, because like there are any bodies and stuff that really match very well with it, which is a big old shame because I love it. And yeah, we'll have a look through all of these because the one it took me a while to decide on like one that ended up like not only just one that had the options I wanted, but one that I could actually manage to get the options to look like remotely decent together. And that was a cool airborne one, the one I settled on. I'll pop it up on screen so you guys can see. Let me just check my save states. I'll save this state and then I'll state this save. Here's what I made earlier and bring it out of the oven. Yeah, this is the best I could do at getting to actually something I liked where I mix and match different parts from different presets and got them to like look slightly coherent together. But yeah, and then we'll pop on our way back and we'll randomly fiddle around with some different ones and I'll show you the pros and the cons. So we've already seen our cool airborne. Let's for example let's shove into Sturdy Beast. And here, the Sturdy Beast default is actually the box art monster for Kobe. Because all of his monsters are purple themed and all of Kara's monsters are green themed. Which is a little odd because Kobe's outfit is actually blue instead of purple. So it doesn't quite match him as well. But yeah. I wonder if there is actually an official name for this monster anywhere. Because like this is the default set that Kobe has. Yeah, pattern 1 Sturdy Beast, that's Kobe. As you can see, these patterns are very clearly meant to all go together. You can mix and match the parts between patterns, but they just do not look very good, and it's a bit of a shame. Some do go together if you can fiddle with the colours a little bit, but some very much don't. And that one honestly looks like the parts don't even go together on its default. That was a little bit over-designed. You've got like several different ideas here that are very contradictory to each other. Why does it have a pizza cutter on its butt? This one's I think is my favourite of the Sturdy Beast patterns. Oh, I do like to fiddle around and change a few of the things on it. I like this one, it looks a little bit better when there's like a horn option. But like just one horn rather than 2 horns. But yeah, we'll fiddle around with that in. Here we have this big old frog friend. And see, I would like that body, but I wish I could swap the head. That's another thing, is how it's inconsistent which parts can be swapped. On Sturdy Beast, you can only swap the entire body all at once. So like, no matter what you do, they will always look like one of these 7 patterns, but just with different accessories put on top. But yet on other ones, you can swap the body and the head separately, so it's a bit strange. Let's have a go and start with this one. as you can see, whole of the thing changes in the body. It's only the tail, wings, and head accessory that can be changed independently, which is an odd choice to make, because the body is like the major part of its design, specifically in this design. It's a big-bodied creature, that's what it is. So, it's quite hard to make them look unique when that's changeable. I think that colour looks very good on it. It goes very well with like the slightly pinkish red. It's all decent. Also, the strange thing is that each one has like a unique colour here, and like it doesn't have an option. Like no other Monster option here is gonna have grey as an option. It's only gonna be this one where the default is grey. I think it's a bit of an oversight, because some of the options that they could have on default are ones that are not available otherwise. It should have just been a grey option as well. Like seriously. But yeah. We will go with Yeti today for our sample monster. And yeah, you have head ornament, you have back, and you have tail. And that's all you can change. The body is always the same. Let's have a look at some of our fancy tails. Little nubbins. Flame power. I kind of like that one because, like, at first glance it looks like it's a skeleton tail, but then you can see it's got it like its pattern isn't like consistently like a skeleton tail. It's more like a drill on the end. So it's a nice combination. I guess that is the one way where I think that weird monster skeleton thing combination actually does like mix like the cyberness and the skeleton together. It's good. I'll go with that. Again, as you can see, basic color is no sand option available for any other parts on any other monster, and it's just like it makes you see that like the basic monsters that they have couldn't even work between like the limited colors that they have available, so they had to add new ones. It's a bit strange because like you could have just like there, yellow and the sand color look very similar. So like why did you even make them two ones anyway? Anywho, we'll go with that because it matches the color of the skin. Have a look at our back accessories. Floof, swoof, smooth, pizza cutter, an entire bush, tentacles. See, I don't know if this opportunity is why I wish that you could mix and match parts from different monsters, because one of the monsters in the airborne thing has flaming wings, and this one already has wing options. You could have had the flaming wings too, as well as the fire on the back. It's a bit of a shame. I wish I knew how to hack the game to like swap the options around or something. That would be neat. Again, this is a problem. It doesn't necessarily mess. That's what I was also going to mention is the problem is that you can't change the accent colors. You can only change the main color, but some options have an accent color too, which is always the same no matter what. And then that doesn't fit with some other ones, so it doesn't end up matching very well, which is a big old shame. See, that's the one I like. When this one is the horn on the forehead. I do kind of like the look of that one. It's like a Trojan horse design. And also a funky mohawk. Did you like? It always bugged me how the monster that's called Mohawker doesn't have a mohawk. It just has like a long fluffy ponytail. But it's called Mohawk. It's called Mohawker in both English and Japanese. Like in Japanese, it's a different pun with the word Mohawk in it. But like. It doesn't have one. It's weird. Maybe we should name this like real Mohawker. Anyway, I think, see, that's the problem too, is that the colours manifest differently depending on the parts. Like, that colour came out as that blue on the flames, but we're picking the same colour option. It's turned out a pale colour on the horn, so they don't match. It's really hard to get colours to match on your monsters, which is a right old shame it is. And here we have sample monster A. Also, you can press a button to make it do little actions. Let's have a go. Boing. Mah. Little chumble walk. See, this one I like. I think has the cutest walk cycle of all of them. But yeah, the options on this one are not the best because of the main thing about the body always switching up. You know what I mean. I'm not wording very good right now. Small Warrior is also a very interesting one. Because there's like there's options here to mix and match to make it cute or to make it slightly creepy or anything in between, and to make it slightly resemblant of some other small warrior characters that like have existed in previous games. And also all these designs here, like the default designs, just look very good on their own. Like I would want all of these to be actual monsters. Like it's a shame you can't collect all of these during one save file because you can only have one monster at the beginning in the game. And yeah, it's very weird how one is just like an Aztec person. Okay. I think this one is my favourite actually. The little adorable little like demon guy but with a little bow on the back. It's so cute. I like that one. I also really like the appeal of like this one. I like the head of the alien thing, but the body I don't like as much because it's like it's the only one that's like really skinny. The rest are like slightly chumbied and all. I wish you could swap the body freely. I wish you could swap like the body shape without changing the body design. Like I know that's probably like giving like too many options and stuff like that, but I wish I could have like this like round shape with like this monster's design, or like, and then you could like swap the outfit on top to like have it wear an outfit or not and stuff like that. But those would probably be too many options. Like it would probably mean that this monster type in particular would have more options than anyone else because it does have to wear clothes and everything. So I guess that does make sense like why the clothes are like preset per body type. Yeah, as you can see, all the heads are very specifically designed on this. They're not really ones that could be easily mix and match with anything else. Like this one here would probably look very, very odd on any other body. And okay, that one works okay with the little skirt body. This one in particular doesn't really work well with any other colour. Like, I've tried doing this one and, like, any other colour except brown, it just looks weird because it's got that texture of wood on it. And I just feel like this particular option is, like, not very customizable at all. And it should have just been, like, a regular monster you can obtain in that shape. Because, like, you can't really mix and match it into anything else. Let's go with adorable little skirted pal. Little demon in a little adorable dress as it deserves. This one again, as you can see right away the option with not having changing colours for the accent colours, because this one has 2 accent colours. You know, there's like 3 accent colours on it. It's got the colour of the face, it's got the colour of the makeup on the face, it's got the colour of the mask, and it's got the accent colour on the mask. And the only thing you can change is the colour of the face. So it's really hard to mix and match the colours with anything else. I like kind of the look of the yellow. As you can see the body, again, a little bit of a problem with like too much being contained in like one option. Like here, you can't have the body without the tail. And here you can't have the body without the tentacles in the background. Which is strange because in the previous one you could change the back accessory. And I am just going to go with cute demon dress because yes. And as you can see here, you have a bit of a problem, like, right away, is that, the colour of the hands is always the same in this. As you can see, if you can rotate so you can see the hands more. The colour of the hands is always the same in this. They are always, Caucasian coloured. Which is strange because on a lot of the other heads, you can change the colour of the actual skin. That's another problem, is, like, which colour changes is not consistent between parts. So that can be a problem when you try and mix and match parts where the colour changing is a different thing, so it's impossible to make them the same colour. Because like here, the skin tone is considered an accent colour which doesn't change, but on the head, the skin tone is considered the only non-accent colour that does change. See, again, the yellow colour is a slightly different shade of yellow to the way the yellow colour was in the previous one. So it doesn't even match so good. Maybe we'll go with red. Let's see, that red is a slightly different colour to the colour on the accent colours. It's not very easy to mix these. Should I just go with white to, like, slightly match the mask? We'll go with black to slightly match the mask? We'll just go with yellow to match nothing and everything and die. And the strangest thing is that they take up 2 customization slots here for deciding which weapon and shield it will hold, when I feel like you could have used those slots to decide, like, the head accessory and like, the body colour and stuff like that. Like you could have changed the back accessory and the head accessory. Like you could have taken the mask off this. You could have taken the hairstyle off. Like all of these have things that you should be able to take off. Like you should be able to take the hairstyle off this. You should be able to take the hood off this, or even the ears if you want to be fun and fancy free. This one at least, like, Like, that one, like, it's defined, but as you can see how, like, the colour just doesn't work if you change it to anything but brown, because it's still got the shading on top with, like, a wood effect, which just makes it look like a very dark yellow here, with, like, streaks on it. The options you have here are kind of strange anyway. Like, there's no just basic sword or anything. They're all like really specific options that are very specific to each of the framework character types that you started with. Like, I suppose in this case it's easy. At least it's easy to mix them up, because like it would make perfectly equal sense for any of these monster designs to hold any of these ridiculous silly weapons. But like at the same time, there's no option for like a more generic specialized weapon, or even just a weapon that could be like visually interpreted as different things depending on what color you turned it into. Like, I don't know. So it feels hard to pick any options, but there is also no option to take it off, which is strange because there is an option to take off the left hand. Like, you can have no shield, but you can't have no weapon. Also, some of them are a shield, and some of them are just a second weapon here. Like, there isn't even an option to have, like, to choose to double up on any weapon, or to choose to have sword and shield for any weapon. It's just like, this character archetype has 2 weapons, so you have to have 2 weapons. Whereas the whole point is to mix and match those pieces. It does very much feel like, maybe, for all I know, that this option wasn't really intended to be an option to begin with. Like, I'm just spitballing here, but like, maybe at some point the idea was to just have like 7 options for each archetype that you pick from, and then someone at the last minute said, we'll add a bit more customization by allowing you to mix and match, but they didn't really balance the mix and matching so that it was actually possible to like visually look like they were mix and matchable. I'm not sure. But either way, let's have a knife. Let's check out our actions. Wah! Yay! Wiggle, squiggle, smiggle, wiggle. Let's look at a small slime, which is one, like, every single one of these has its own unique ways where the customization is not very good, and it's kind of strange. I wonder if they were all, like, programmed by different members of the team or something. Yeah. Here we go. Like, you can see these ones here, and you're probably thinking, like, okay, we can mix and match. The problem is that with this one in specific, you can only do these patterns here. You only basically have 7 options. You can only change the colours of these 7 options. Like, every other single option is adding extra accessories to these basic designs. It's very strange. Like, none of the default patterns show the additional accessories you can add to them. But that takes up most of the customization slots. Like, for example, here, you can't choose to, like, have a different hat with a different like outfit, or to not have a hat or an outfit. You can only choose specifically this slime here wearing a Shogun outfit, and for this one you can only choose to be wearing a Pride Parade outfit. For this one here, you can only be choosing to wear a Pharaoh outfit, etc, etc. For this one specifically, you get like so much. You can't even choose to like have the bubble slime looking thing without the whole mecha stuff on. Like, I would just like to have bubble slime body shape on any of the other designs. Like, I would like a bubble Shogun. Wouldn't you like a bubble Shogun? A bubble Ogun? The only things you can choose to customize about the main body are just the existing body, which includes all the clothes, and the face on top of it. Which is like, at least you can customize the face. But like, yeah, as you can see, like, it's even weirder because like the accessories on the face are not separately choosable. You can only have this face with the charm on the forehead and the tongue. You can't have any other one with a tongue. And like, you can only have the goggles on this face. You can't have any other face with goggles. But yeah, let's have a look through our options. You can have a ridiculous Shogun Chumby face. You can have, like, almost regular slime face, but the eyes are bigger, which is strange to take up a slop on it. You can have, like, horrifying carved into my face, which does not look right unless you pick a very specific body to go with it. You can have glasses. The glasses face. And you can have, like, an entire Jiangxi face. It's a really specific one. Like, could we have a separate face just with the black eyes? Could we have a separate face just with a tongue? Could we separate these things? Like, even if we could just pick, like, mouth and eyes separately, that would be really useful. And you can have this adorable as heck face. I just love it. I'm not sure why I adore it so much, but just having the default slime face but with, like, wildly different eyes just somehow looks really adorable. I love it. And then just the default slime face. But the weirdest thing is that the default slime face comes with red eyes in this one. Like, I'm not sure, is it? Yeah, there is actually an option to change the pupils, but the default colour for the default slime face is red instead of black like usual, which is odd. Because, like, the default is, like, for that and everything. But it's strange. What does the colour change on this? Yeah, on this one, it's again inconsistency. Like, not every face changes the same thing. On this one, you can't change the colour of the eyes, it changes the colour of the tongue. Like, I would have expected it would change the colour of the charm. But, like, for every other one, it changes the colour of the eyes. What's it change? On this one, it changes the colour of the mouth. On none of the others, it changes the colour of the mouth. What's it even change on this? On this one, it changes the accent colour of the colour. But you can't change the colour itself. Consistency. Who is consistent? And again, here, you can change the lens, but you can't change the gold around the sides. Darn you and your decisions, game. Yeah, entire body is just one piece. Like, could I not even just have hat and things separate? Like, seriously, this design is so over-designed. Could I have any of these pieces and allow me to swap them? I would really like the bubble slime body with the bubbles on anything else. Or even just have, like, the regular body, but have the option to add the bubbles to it. Or the option to add one of these robot parts, but not every single one of them simultaneously. Like, these are all incredibly over-designed outfits. There's no option to just not have an outfit. All of these have a very preset character to them. Like, it's like a whole personality and, like, literal job class in the visuals. Like, it's hard to interpret these characters any other way. So, I guess I will just go with this one because it's quite cute. And again, the strangeness is, you can... Despite the fact it's body and really ridiculous outfit, you can only change the colour of the body and not the colour of the really ridiculous outfit. Choices were made here and I don't quite understand. Oh, see, that face doesn't work with the colour I wanted now because you can't change the yellow on the outside of the face. I think I will end up going with a cute face then. Okay, so admittedly that colour scheme does work really well with the Shogun outfit. And here you see the strangest choice, but instead of, like, making any of these options individually customizable, they wasted 2 whole customization spots on optional accessories. And these are very strange choices for optional accessories too. You can choose a floating cushion. You can choose between 7 floating cushions. Like, why would you even want one? What association does this even have with slime as an archetype? Like, I like the idea of having your slime sit on a cushion, but having a cushion be part of its design 24/7, maybe not. Like, I would rather this was like an accessory that you could, like, have in your base that your slime would sit on when you come home or something. But I gotta say, I do give him props by having a giant gay pride floating cushion. Okay, to be fair, the whole design is supposed to be Mardi Gras, not gay pride, but come on. I saw a chance and I took it. I like this one that's just an entire separate monster that, like, is able to independently move. Like, is it an animated plushie or is it just a different monster? Orb! What even is that? What by any definition is that? It looks like one of those turban snail shells, but like a robot. Anyway, orb. This is your obligatory Dr. Snap reference for the day. The second strange option is whatever this is. Free floating things which have no correlation between each other, really. You can have smaller slimes with like a fan attached to their head. You can have slime dreamcatcher charms, I think. You can have a diamond with a pyramid pattern, despite the fact it's not a pyramid, it's a diamond, and a screaming slime face on it. You can have a shitload of weapons. Okay, I really like the design, honestly, for the little sword with the frowning slime face. I want that to be its own monster. You can have a bunch of books with slime faces. See, the fact that every accessory has a slime face on it, and you can only specifically have 3 of them, and they, like, take up so much space on the screen and detract from the design. Like, all of these factors make it hard to pick any accessories, so you probably will just... That probably explains why every single one of the sample designs just had no accessories, because none of these accessories really work. The only one I kinda like is, like, the floating bowling ball ghosts, just because it's cute, and it's a strange design. I like the idea. Or you can have robot orbiting slimes which look like they should be their own individual slime monster. Like, man, I should take screenshots of these designs, like, try and design, like, an actual slime variant based on each one of them, because seriously, some of these elements work individually on their own, but they just don't work together. IDK man, they're purplish. Yeah. Let's check out Sturdy Magician, which is one of the ones that has the most complaints for. I'm quite sorry. I'm sorry. This is the one that has all of the designs I love the most, but I will complain about all of them because it's so hard to mix and match them. Again, a concept where they had so many good individual concepts that they just suck at mix and matching them. And I really wish that all of these could just be individual, like, their own monsters, where I could catch them all in one game. Rather than, like, technically I could have any of these monsters as my monster, but I would have to give up my chance to have a customizable monster to do that. I would just have to like, pick the plain option and not customize it at all. I don't want to do that. I want to take the potential to make a custom monster while I can. So here you have this cool androgynous mermaid or merman, or what could possibly be, like, the androgynous word for mer something. I guess I would say mero, which is like just another synonym for mermaid, but it doesn't really inherently sound gendered, even if it is, like, just supposed to be used for mermaid. We'll go with that. Look how goddamn cool this design is. Like, it's a mermaid warrior, and their whole design just looks so coherent and good together, and trust me, it's not going to look coherent and good when we start smashing it up with other things. And here you have a really cool tornado vortex skeleton man, which again, when you swap out the pieces, none of it goes with. It's got a problem of too many pieces being counted as one piece. Here the entire body and the tail are separate pieces. Like, again, you can't swap out the head, you can't change the outfit, you can only have skeleton man, or like, the big problem, you can only have the entire, like, upper fish body here, which does not look right when you switch it out with any of the options that are not fish. So, it sucks. If I could just, like, swap out off the ears to not be fishy ears, then it would work so much better. And here you have a guy whose entire arse is a face. And somehow they managed to make it cool and not, you know, like, inherently bad as that concept sounds. Though this one, I think, the default option doesn't really go very well together. Like, this one, I don't think any of the top parts really go with the bottom part. Which is a bit of a shame, because it's so fucking rad, the idea of being a centaur, but your lower half is just a giant head. Like, that's an inherently fucking amazing idea, but I tried so hard to pick a customization option that goes good with this, I just could not manage to find one. And it sucks I cannot go for my entire adventure being a tiny adorable girl whose best friend is a centaur with a skull head for a bum. Like, can you just imagine Kara walking down the street with this gigantic hovering cranial mass of death with an entire second man sprouting out of its third eye as her best friend? Game, why you deny me? And it's just a dragon man. This is probably my least favourite of all the options here. Well, I do kind of like the pleasing colour scheme of the candy cane horns popping out here, but it doesn't go very well with its default colour of green, I feel. Like, it should look Christmassy here, but it just kind of doesn't. And, no, I think this is my least favourite colour design. It's just very messy. It's like, this one has so many different elements, but none of them really go together, but also the fact that you can't mix and match means you can't make them go together with something better. Like, here, the body doesn't really go very well with, like, the armor design. Like, again, the fact that you can't change accent colors and stuff means that, like, you are forever going to be stuck with one of these clashing. Like, and like, it's like some sort of, like, I don't even know what you could call it, because you can't tell because it's behind the mask and everything, but, like, I would have said it looked, like, considering, the default, accessory, thing. Again, this is another design that should be its own monster. It's just an axe with bat wings. Considering that, I'm assuming this is supposed to be like a vampire crossed with, like, battle armor Dullahan type of thing. But, like, the problem here with this particular monster is that it's already a cross between two monsters, and then to take that and to say cross it with, like, more monsters, it's already cluttered without even starting to cross it over, and it's, like, especially going to be cluttered there. This one has a problem with the accent colours not going together, even before you start mixing and matching. Like, come on, the hair colour, and like, you've got, like, 50 colours here, you've got an armour colour that contrasts very much with the skin tone already, and then has an even more contrasting yellow on top of it. That green and that yellow do not go very well together, and then, on the design, you have multiple different colours of yellow on that design. Like the rings around the gloves are slightly different yellow than the colours on the patterns, and that really bugs me. And then on the top of the axe you have a different yellow as well. And then as well as that you have the bright orange hair, which doesn't match with with any of the accent colours. And you also have the red capey thing underneath the battle skirt, which again does not match very good. This one I would give it probably the lowest rating of like the entirety of all of it, which sucks because it has a load of really good design elements, and if I was able to customize some of these options I could definitely rescue this design from the absolute splattering, this pizza splattering of every colour all at once. And this one makes me laugh because the arms look really, really, really short. And I don't know why. It makes me wonder, were they planning to actually let you customize the arms on this monster at some point, and then they changed their mind, but then they just left the wrong arms on this guy? Or was he just really meant to be that buff and his arms have degenerated into even smaller Doritos? This man is one large Dorito with two small Doritos attached to it. They look better from the side, but from the front angle they look really tiny. And I really like this design, honestly, because it's the idea of an angel, but in an awesome badass battle form, not a delicate angel, this is a fighting angel. I think everything about this design looks really good except the fact that the proportions are a little bit strange. And again, the problem is that you can't change very much about this design, so these design pieces are very much designed to go together. You can't really take this head you can't take the head separately, you have to take the whole body. So you can't take the whole body, including the wings and the back and everything, and then stick it on something else. It doesn't work very well. It only works with this base on it. But I do really like the floaty wings and everything, and the blend of armor and wings, and the accents on the armor, these little feathers poking out from the breastplate and stuff, and the wings for ears and the big old horn and stuff, and just how it all blends very well together to give this angelic look and all. And it good. I'm not even sure if this technically is an angel or if it's just a character dressed up in angel wear, because I mean, the wings seem slightly magical, so they could just be an artifact that's been equipped by this warrior. And all the rest of it seems to be accessories. I'm not sure if the wings on the head are supposed to be a helmet, or if it is literally just a beard that goes into wing hair. Either way, it's a really good design. And I just wish I could tweak the colours a little bit, or to customize things individually to because all the elements of these designs could go really well with some of the other designs too, but they just don't get the opportunity. And here we just have Funky Robot Friend, and I appreciate them because it's not so common you get a robot which is levitating like this with a big old computer containment chamber for a bum. And I think that looks really neat. It's like a robot equivalent of a mermaid. Actually, it's the robot equivalent of which one was it? Of the guy with a head for a butt. I mean, technically this is a robot with a head for a butt, because if the purpose of the large chamber at the bottom is to contain the main computer processing unit, then technically that is the head. That's interesting. But I feel it loses quite a lot from the side, because so much of its design is taken up by knives. It does become a little bit over detailed and cluttered and hard to pass for shape, sort of. Especially because at this particular angle in the front you can't see half of these designs. Half of these knives on the design, so it has a different aesthetic depending on when you look at it from the front or the side. And both of them are kind of cool, but together they don't really work so well. But I do really I like the way that they patterned the spikes on on the bottom segment, where it looks like they're all popping out a Swiss Army knife or something. It would have been cooler, actually. That would have been how to solve this, is to have the design be so it doesn't have the knives out, but then the knives can extend out during its animations, in the style of a Swiss Army knife. That would have been a cool solution to have the aesthetic of both aspects. Anyway, let's have a look at some animations. See, this one, it seems very dependent on you picking. I'm not sure if this one also has an option to remove the accessories like the other one did. It seems like their animations kind of use the accessories in the background rotating. Yeah. So I was assuming that this one wouldn't have an option to take those off, because otherwise you would end up ruining the animations quite a bit. Let's have a check. Yeah, you can. I guess you just lose out on the animation factor for this. I do really like the designs of these little floating axe friends. I wish I was its own unique monster. I don't want, like, so many of these floating accessories are like relegated to accessories. They should be their own thing. Like, these fishes are very plain fishes, but they're very adorable fishes. I like them. They're very chumbered. They're like fishes that like shaped like bread loaves, and I love them. I also really like these little darkness bat things. They're just eyes, and I love them. That could be its own bat monster. That could join the pantheon of like Draki and Teeny Sanguini. We need more adorable bats. Every time that Dragon Quest has done a bat, except for some reason Night Emperor, that's the only bat monster I don't like very much, because it does look just very similar to like a real bat. And I feel like I like the more creative, bizarre takes on a bat that they have in this series. I like these. And then you just have like diamonds with screamy faces. Are these guys related to the diamonds with screamy faces on the slime one? See, again, it makes me wish I could mix and match, because like all of these could have worked as accessories on a slime monster too. Or you could just have Dr. Snap's orbs. I appreciate that a lot of these monsters give you an option to just have Dr. Snap's orbs. I know there are a lot of other monsters that also have those orbs, but to me they will always be Dr. Snap's orbs. Did you know this game has Dr. Snap in it? I don't know where you can catch him, or if he has gone back to his status of being like a legendarily difficult fusion recipe, but so help me God, I will get Dr. Snap in this game. And yeah, again, strange choices being made for which things you can customize. In this case, like this monster is called a magician, and all its animations primarily use for floating accessories, so why does it even have a weapon in the first place? Like, you could have taken this customization slot out and like only had it use the floating accessories as a weapon, because as it is, it basically has two weapons. Like, it uses the floating accessories in its attack, so they are kind of its weapons, and there's no option to take the weapon off it when you really think that there should be one, which is a bit of a shame. A lot of things are a bit of a shame today. Colors. 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 As you can see, these don't tend to go very well with anything else. It's a bit of a shame. And this one still looks clunky and clunkered with anything else. Actually, if anything, it looks a little bit better on the robot. Maybe we can find a colour that makes it look well on the robot. No, we can't. Because there's no the black looks kind of okay on the robot, but it's not really the same navy blackish colour that it had before. And the fishtail doesn't look good on anything except the one that already clearly has fish elements on top, which is a right old shame. But the darkness tail looks good on anybody, let's be fair. Like, becoming an entire tornado is a power move no matter what your gender is. And lizard is just boring no matter what your gender is. Like, no offense, like, I really love snake monsters in a lot of games, but, like, this is a very, generic-looking snake design body. Also, it's very small. I feel like that should have been longer. I feel like the tornado also should have been longer, to be honest, but yeah. This one kind of, like, this one is such a bigger size than everything else. I feel like they should have all sort of been similar or balanced in size, because then the animations would probably... I hope there isn't going to be any clipping errors in the animation. I was just worried about that because, like, sometimes you do get errors like that in customization systems. It's a common error I've noticed in customizers where they, like, allow you to make a chubby character, but they didn't really put much effort into it, so the character scales up, but, like, by picking a chubby option, you have their arms, like, clip through their own skin during animations, and I'm like, how did no one playtest this? Again, a very big problem on this one in particular is not being able to change the accent colour. If I could change the colour of, like, the flames and the eyes and stuff, it would match so much better with a lot of the other colours. As it is, it only really tends to, like, go with, like, the brown or white or black. I think I will go with white because I think it looks more striking and distinct that way. It also looks more like a giant skull head, which it is a giant skull head, but it's a giant skull head made of rock. I would prefer it to be a giant skull head made of skull. The floor is made of floor! Yeah, as you can see, literally none of these look right with a skull butt. Which is a goddamn shit. Like, that one doesn't look right with anything because it's got fishy ears. Very specific fishy ears. And it's like a very specific skull. Like, if you could have customized the body and the head separately, that would have gone so far on this one. Because, like, Like, I mean, if you could just have, like, this body with a different head, that would have worked so well. Because I think the aesthetic I'm leaning towards for, like, my headcanon version of, like, the gigantic, terrifying skull butt centaur is, like, having, like, a very humanoid upper half, looking very pretty and aesthetic. I think I would really like that aesthetic. The idea of, like, a fancy final boss who, like, is trying to be, like, the generic humanoid final boss, but they aren't. Like, imagine, like, it's a monster that's, like, grown a fake human body from its head to try and, like, fit in aesthetically with the other final bosses. Like, the true final boss is self-confidence issues. But yeah, even the one that's supposed to fit with it just doesn't fit with it very well. The buff dragon looks especially silly on it. I kind of like that, honestly. Yeah. It's a bit of shit. Can we fiddle with the colours? That's the colour it changes! That's the colour it changes! The one that you want to remain white because the whole point is it's an angel armour. Why could you not change the skin tone? And the yellow and the anything? That's the one! The accent colours look even worse, like here, like it's got, like, does that mean the guy is supposed to be wearing a mask? Is this like a shonen superhero? A Sentai hero? Like, I just assumed that, like, that was a colour of his hair. I didn't assume that was a mask. So this guy has got two accent colours that should be allowed to be changed. Does he look better in both? Like, no, he really, really, really doesn't. That nose mask thing is just not looking right. Actually, it would be hilarious to think, like, what if that means that the body isn't, like, a full bodysuit mask thing? And it's just, like, he doesn't have a face, and so he's just, like, he's glued on, like, a COVID mask with a face drawn on it? Or what if that means the entire thing is a mask, like, even the butt is a mask, and he just takes off and he's a regular, boring human man? He's just wearing, like, a Snuggie shaped like his favourite monster. Actually, that's a big old mood. I kind of appreciate that. Damn it, see, I can't pick any other option except a Screaming Skull head, but... Like, see, even this one doesn't work very good because the colours, like, it still keeps, like, so many accent colours. Like, why does the head not even change at the same time as the others? Like, the head is, And this one on this one you can only change the skin tone. This one where you shouldn't change the skin tone. This one where I want to change everything but the skin tone. Like, if I could just change, like, the ears and stuff to a different colour, it would maybe look, like, less like a fish and maybe more like a fire dragon or something. But yeah. I was gonna say this one is, this entire monster, like, frustrates me. This template here frustrates me so much. It's, like, undoable for anything unless you just pick the default options. And I really dislike that. Because every single one of these options is on fire except this one. And frankincense. Let's look at cool fighting. This one is really interesting because it has, like, entirely separate and different choices than anyone else. On this one you can choose the arms separately. On the previous one, you weren't allowed to choose the head and the body separately. On this one, you can choose arms twice. Who decided what would be choosable and what wouldn't be choosable? Why didn't they just, like, unify it so, like all of them could have the same amount of accessories? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. And why can't we mix and match? Because some of these would look better on the other ones. Like, come on, can I have the sturdy beast, but its head is the giant screaming skull butt head? Like not just a tiny head on it, but, like, it makes its body be like I'm gonna shove it up on screen now to show what I mean, but, like, have a gigantic head as big as its entire body with no neck or anything. That would be such a cool aesthetic. Like the Bandersnatch from Final Fantasy IX. Come on, man. So yeah, you have rather generic looking tiger guy aside from the fact that he's got 4 arms. Maybe this guy is related to Gorsby Purvis. And you have Guilmon, but somehow more Digimon than Guilmon. Like, you would expect this to be Guilmon's evolution. Digimon fucking loves shoving belts on stuff. And, like, yeah. This one is probably one of my faves of this one because like it does have a lot of customization potential. The parts mix and match well with everything else because they do have like good recolorability because there aren't many accent colors on this. Like the accent color is the color of the belts, but like a plain black belt can go well with pretty much anything, so it does work quite well this. And you have a blue Tengu, which is neat. Tengus are neat, but again, it's a design that looks very specific to what it is. And it is a little tricky to mix and match these parts with anything else. You have basically this is actually interesting because it's a series of monsters that were available only in a lot of games which were Japan only. I'm not sure if they debuted in one of the mobile app games or in the Dragon Quest X MMO, but it's a style of monsters that are technically in the slime class, where it's they're called like slime warriors, slime fighters or something, and they're basically based on like Super Sentai characters, like as in like you get like slime red, slime pink, slime blue, ultra slime, etc. And they're like combining slime robot time and stuff. And yeah. And there's also a separate set called Slime Ninjas, which is just like the same concept but with ninjas. But the problem is I don't really like them is because there isn't very much about them that says slime. Like, they are canonically slimes. Like, I think the idea is supposed to be, like, the reason why you can only see little eyes poking out the face is because it's a slime wearing a mecha suit, like, shaped like a human. Which is a really cool idea, but the design doesn't communicate it very well, aside from just the fact that it has the slime eyes poking out of the top of the suit there. Like, I suppose technically you can say, like, a logo on its head kind of looks like a slime face, but I think it's a bit too subtle and hard to pull off, and, like, the rest of it is just, like, It's a cool design in its own right, but as the concept of a humanoid slime, it doesn't look like a humanoid slime. That's a big old shame. So yeah, you can basically create your own OC to join the Slime Warriors. I think that is a really cute idea. And honestly, I wish they'd thrown in more options here. Like, you can make a slime, or you can make a slime war, but every other monster option we've seen so far has been an entirely unique new monster set. It would have been cool if you had ideas like, you can make a new member of popular monster species, like a new tiny sanguini or something. But yeah. And then you have crunchy, I do find it interesting like how they have like a Japanese style superhero and then they have like a Western style superhero. That's cool. But personally I just don't like mecha superhero guys in general, so I wouldn't pick those. Then you have an entire ass Anubis. Again, a design that's like very fully realised and clearly only one thing and wouldn't mix and match well with others, sadly. But it looks very neat. It doesn't quite fit in with Dragon Quest, to be honest, because it is just like a plain Anubis. It's not like a spin on Anubis. It's not like a funny Anubis. It's not like an interesting mix-up of Anubis or something else. It probably fits in the same category as like Mischievous Mole, which is like just a mole with not much of a concept. It's just a mole that like holds a shovel like a cartoony animal and stuff, yeah. Probably Mischievous Mole is probably my least favourite design in the entirety of Dragon Quest. And it sucks because like it's a perfectly serviceable, cute and adorable mole, but like every other Dragon Quest monster as an animal is some sort of joke on the animal, like the animal doing something fun or the animal like caricaturized into something, or the animal mixed and combined with another concept. And Mischievous Mole is like literally just the cartoon mole with nothing else. And this one is kind of like the cool equivalent of that. Like, this design itself looks awesome, but also at the same time, it doesn't really have any particular spin on it. So, oh well. Maybe this guy is Mischievous Mole's dad. Okay, now I've said that, I'm starting to appreciate Mischievous Mole more. Thank you, friend. Thank you. And then you have this absolute disaster piece of a design where every individual part looks awesome, but put together it's strange. It's like your eye focuses on it, thinks, wow, it's a good design, and then it notices how it's not a good design. And then it notices another part of it that will be a good design, but then it knows that it's not a good design. Like, and also at the same time, none of these concepts would work combined with anything else, which is bizarre. How did they manage to make something that couldn't work any way else, but also couldn't work together? Like, they could have at least, like, unified the colours a bit more, maybe, because like the crab claws on its back and its hands aren't the same colour as a crab claw on its head, which is clearly like a piece of armour, but the rest are actual crab claws. And why does it have crab claws on its back? Like, I would feel like that would be a cool option to have if it didn't also have crab claws where crab claws are supposed to be, and also on its head. And it's just like, why from the waist down does it look like a hockey player? Like, that just looks like a stylized hockey uniform. Is this a hockey crab? Nothing else about it communicates to crab. I guess the mask maybe could be a hockey crab, but then the helmet stuff attached to it makes it look more like a regular helmet, not a hockey mask. I'm just not sure. Let's go with this and try and see if there's any possible way to improve it. No, because again, change all of it at once. Like, on this, could you have possibly had like the mask and change the horns separately? Like, if we could have had this mask, but maybe put some different horns on it, or had no horns on it, it might work. Or if we could have had this mask containing the horns from something else. Maybe we'll stick with his head and we'll change the rest for something else. Yeah, I think I'll stick with his head and see if anything else can mess with it. Oh, I like how that looks. That, like, faded colour of... Again, an issue with the colours not quite meaning the same colour depending on which part you're picking. I like how that looks. That faded colour, that's good. That also looks okay. Yeah, a lot of the colours work quite well with this one. I like how that looks too. I think I will go with a slightly faded cyan. Let's see if any other bodies and stuff will go good with this. Again, doesn't quite fit with anything else, sadly. Maybe that could kind of fit with this because it could look kind of like a death mask. Why is that the colour that changes? Why is that the colour that changes? Again, happening again with the mummies. Again, actually, why are there 2 mummy-themed monsters in this collection? Like, at that point, it's just like, why not let me mix and match parts? Why not let me put the parts for the other mummy on this mummy? But, like, come on, like, can I change the accent colours on the actual... And just, like, almost all of these don't look good because it's clearly wrappings, and then, like, these colours don't look right for wrappings. Like, it's covered in poop toilet paper. Like, that one, I guess, looks okay because, like, the shading on the dark one makes it look less like wrappings and makes it just look like, I don't know, abs or something. But, like, again, not being able to change the colour of the outfit doesn't work very good along with that. Actually, that kind of looks better on it than the default one. That kind of looks awesome. Okay, surprising myself here. Yeah, I have no complaints with that. That kind of looks fucking rad. Alright. We might be onto something here. We might be onto something. Those arms actually kind of work. That's the only part of the movie monster that actually kind of works in like context. But then again, the default arms for the spiky one actually do kind of already go with that. Actually, those kind of look good too. Depending on what colour options I have, like any of these could possibly go with it. Maybe not those. Actually, that could be interesting to have it like be a monster that's like very buff and all that, and then it just has like random cute maid sleeves. That one doesn't quite work. Let's see what colour options we have for this. No, I forgot it's just the bandages that changed. See what colour option we have for this. That matches pretty good. I might go with that, but I might see what colour option we have for this. Oh, you can only change the hands and not the sleeves, and the main thing is the sleeves. Why you be like this? Why you be like this? Let's have a go. I want to see the options if I can possibly do the idea of like, no, you can't change its. You can't change its legs. You can only change the back. That's not gonna work. I was thinking like it might be adorable to have it like, to have it be wearing this big super buff armor and then just like imply it's like actually a skinny guy underneath. That would have been kind of adorable, but we'll just go with the default hands for this crystal type. And then the back. What can we go here that would actually look good? Like, I wonder if there is anything that could possibly look good to go well with like the snappy claw back. That doesn't look good with anything else. See, that one doesn't necessarily look good with even that one. I'm only now noticing that it might have been supposed to be like a crystal monster rather than a robot, but the default colour scheme looks more like a robot. Give it some arms? I like the idea that like one of these is arms, but again, like, you would feel like you would wish like there were more options for this. Like, you have one wing, but maybe we could have other wings. Like, could we bring in the other wing like customization options that were on the other ones? And like we have our other ones, could we have different arms rather than just tiger arms? And etc. That does look kind of cool with it. Let's see if there's a different colour on that. Maybe we could have that to be yellow to balance it all out. That does look cool. That looks very nice. I have managed to make a totally consistent, like, one where all the accent colours actually work together across, like, very different options. I like this. I like the like, slightly ethereal aspect of the robe in the back. You are a good egg, and I am taking a screenshot of you. I'm not sure if I should go for this on my final one, actually, because, like, I'm usually not a huge fan of, like, super buff, like, humanoid monsters. I'm more of a fan of, like, more monster-y shaped monsters. This is a very monster-y humanoid, and also I really like the aesthetic of this really buff, super fighty monster, which has also got, like, a cool cape in the background. It actually makes me feel like maybe this is a super, like, a buff butch lesbian girl. Which, yeah. Just, to be honest, yeah for everything. Like, one thing I do really like about this monster creation is that you can choose your monster to be any gender regardless of what customization options you pick. You can have your monster be as butch or as femme as you want, and I love it. Let's check out our actions. Okay, that walk is kind of hilarious. Making my way downtown, faces past something lyrics. Insert the song there, pretend I didn't mess that up entirely. Really like a Bigfoot walk or something. This animation is very strange. Like, this seems like it should be on the Jiangxi monster. Like, why is there not a Jiangxi option for this one? And that was just strange. There's a lot of personality put in this one. It seems like this monster has like a bit of a showboating personality going on. I like that. I will definitely save this in the back of my mind as an option. Like, I don't know what's happening. Should I go with this one? Should I go with the airborne flying one that I already picked? I don't know, but I haven't been able to find a good option for the other ones. And the only other option I was settling on is I kind of like that colour scheme option for the Shogun slime. But, like, So I have this one, and it's a girl, and pick, like, a cheerful and adorable personality for it. But, like, obviously still tough at the same time, but tough and also cheerful and adorable. Like a big hugging auntie, that's the vibe I'm getting, like you know, like the stereotypical, like, middle-aged, chubby auntie who is like, I'll give you a big old hug, and I'll bake you cookies and stuff like that. That's the vibe I'm getting from this design so strongly. And I don't know how, or why, or when, or where, or... I'm getting kind of attached to her. Damn it. Okay, I'm taking a screenshot so I'll remember which customization options I picked here. Let's go back and have a look at the options for the cool airborne so y'all can see. Y'all can see. And y'all can see why I was, like, forced to pick this too, because the options are just so good. The first option, cool airborne pattern 1, is Tara's, like, box art monster that she has. Which isn't, it's neat. It's honestly, this design, again, I really wish this was just like a canonical monster. This design itself is so, like, consistent and good, and it's really hard to mix and match with the other designs. And here too we have, like, literally just knockoff Moltres. Like, no offense, it's got a lot of very distinct concepts from Moltres, but it's really hard to see, like, those exact flame wings and those exact colours and not think Moltres. It's very strange because the rest of its design isn't very Moltres, but it's just got exactly Moltres wings slapped on the back, which don't go very well with the rest of it being the opposite way around with the colours. You have this cool ass thing. Again, I really wish I could change the accessories or even the accent colours, because the head of this looks really cool, but it comes with all those accessories. It comes with, like, the beard made of a crown, which is a really rad idea, to be honest, and all, like, the super horns and the hair at the back and everything. I would just like to have that kind of face, but, like, on a different head. Like you know what I mean, like, with a different everything else around it. I feel it's a bit over-designed, maybe. It's a bit complicated. I think, like, I get the vibe this was kind of based on, like, ancient woodcut drawings of, like, Quetzalcoatl, which is, like, the Aztec god, the feathered serpent, which is the only one I can remember because it was the one that was in Final Fantasy VIII, with a design that had no accuracy whatsoever to the official one, but I always remember it because it was just a very memorable name. And honestly, the real design for it is also amazing. Like Aztec folklore has a lot of really cool looking creatures and gods and stuff. So it's neat. It's nice to see some of that representation in the game. And here we have a weird robot with like, no legs. And oddly enough, this is the only option which lets you have no legs, but it's a very clearly robotic option which doesn't fit very well with any other designs, which is a shame, because I feel like some of these designs would look better without legs. Like this design here, I feel like that would kind of look better as like a dragon with only front legs. Which, my friend Demo on Discord told me the name of a dragon with no hind legs, because I drew one, and then they drew a really amazing fan art of that dragon in human form, and I adore it. I'm still buzzing with the joy of that, like seriously, oh my god. And then they told me what the name is of the dragon with no hind legs, and I didn't even know, because I was just doodling a dragon randomly, and I didn't realise that it was an existing mythological archetype of that dragon. I think it might be, Lingworm? Something like that, a really cool sounding name. But yeah. What am I babbling on about? I need to have a sip of my drink. And then you have this crunchy crystal thing. Which, it's a shame because none of these parts tend to go well with the other parts because they all have this very obvious crystal texture. It's the same problem as the tree mummy. And also, I feel like its face is a little strange, because it's hard to tell which of those is the nose and which is supposed to be the mouth. Or if it's, like, an open beak. Like, I mean, you can pass it different ways. Maybe I'll redline over the screen what I'm seeing here. Like, I'm seeing it kind of as, like, it's possible you could see it as, like, an upturned mouth with, like, a mustache. Or you can see it as, like, the bottom one is a mouth and then that's a horn on the nose. Or you can see it as it's an open beak. I'm not sure which one's supposed to be. And the optical illusiveness of it is kind of spooky to me, so I probably will not pick that option. And as you can see, Bunny's favourite. Like, I'm sorry, I could not pick the option of 3 awesome ribcage arm claws on each side. Like, I fucking adore that. But the head I'm not so fond of, because, like, I don't know why, but it doesn't seem to fit with the design, even though it's clearly designed to fit with the design. I just feel like the body being so thin doesn't work so well, because, like, everything around the body is so attention-drawing. Like, it feels like you need, like, a more plain design for the body, like a thick and plain design for the body in the middle to, like, make it all stand out more. Whereas here you've got a thin body with, like, really complicated, what you call spine design and stuff, and it kind of draws away from it. Which is why my cool airborne custom design was pretty much just this, but the body would be the pattern 1 body. And it was very hard to find colour schemes that work good with that. And then you just have it Night Dragon. I do appreciate the slightly unique strangeness of it having swords for arms, and the swords for arms are also heads for arms, but it's a little bit over-designed. And also, it's odd how this is one the closest we get to, like, having the same option available on 2 different archetypes, because it looks very similar to the knight character for the magician. Actually, the crystal body looks kind of good with it, honestly. That's the only one I think the crystal body looks kind of decent with. I'll go through all the options before I just go back to the option I ended up picking in the end. I spent so long deliberating over what colours go well with the arms and stuff. It's very tricky because this one, again, it has like a lot of accent colours which can't be changed. It's very tricky because this one particularly, like, you have one which has accent colours that are very green, you have one that has accent colours that are very bold and pink. It's hard to stick them together, even though they would look so good together if I could mix the colours right. That's why I ended up settling on purple, as like, a purplish blue works well as like a medium in between like the green and the pink, to like kind of blend them together a bit more. I guess, at least that's how I think in my brain. I'm trying to find ways to compromise to get these things to show themselves together. And we'll go for the other arms, even though we set on like the other. Actually, I kind of like that. It looks like fancy businesswoman shoulders. I think honestly, its default arms don't go very well with the design. Like, I feel like the leaf spikes here are a cool idea. They didn't go far enough with it. It should have been like 3 leaf spikes to match up with like there being a lot of leaves on the tail and also the wings. And like, I think 3 would be a good option for like to make it match up aesthetically, while also not being too many to draw away attention. And honestly, these ones are kind of funny because like its wings look like more of an actual flame, but then its wing arms look like cardboard cutouts of a flame. It's very odd how the wings and the wing arms have a totally different style when they're both the same thing. Actually, I kind of think like the Aztec-inspired design arms would go better with the grass monster if you were able to customize the colors of it. Which sadly you are. It's got way too many. It's got way too many accent colors on it. I just have sticks, 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 sticks. Actually, I think I might name my monster Sticks. I'm not sure if are you allowed to name your monster on this. I'm not sure. Or is it just called Montana? Montner is a pretty good name, but it's kind of difficult to remember how to pronounce it. We're going with the best option because of course we are. Also, oh, that's the reason I went with this colour option, is because this colour option is like fairly consistent along most of the options. Oh, it does kind of suck because, as you can see, like, it's very different on some of the options. Like, it suddenly becomes a lighter blue on some of the options. It becomes a very lighter blue on that option. It's also very tricky to find legs that go well with this design, to be honest. Let's have a look through and have a look, yeah. Like, the shading on the legs is kind of metallic on the skeleton monster, which is kind of strange because the shading on the arms isn't quite so much. But yeah, and again, the colour is it's totally different on those. I feel like the default legs don't go so well for this. Like I said, I feel like the legs either should have been smaller or should have it not had legs and it just been like a naga tail. And that one's kind of sucks. This one kind of doesn't go with anything else because despite the whole thing being red on the default monster, you can only change one of the parts of it that's red and not the other part that's red. Strange. Strange, isn't it? And yeah, the very robotic looking lack of legs, which is a shame because I would like to go with lack of legs on this. But oh well. The option not be there. The option not be there. And this one's a very strange choice because this was one of the only ones where the accent colour does slightly change. Like on this one you can see the skin part on the bottom, the claws, changes to blue, but also the armour changes to blue. Well, you know, like bluish purple, whatever you would call this colour. Dr. Snap hair colour, I guess. Wait, is that why I picked it? Even my subconscious is snapinating. Anyway, so we'll just settle with these legs as the closest compromise. Oh, maybe. What did I go? Did I go with the green leg? I think I might have gone with the green leg. I can't remember what I picked, but I like the idea of the green legs to balance it out a bit, to have most of it be purple, but then have the legs be green to give a reason why it has the green accents. Retroactively make up a reason why this design would have that, I guess. We'll try it out and see how it looks with all of this, and yeah. And then oh yeah, wings will just swap them over to there. Does it look alright? Does it look alright? I'm not sure. Again, a lot of designs where the accent colour is the main colour. Like this one, you would think maybe that it would make sense to have the colour that's closest to the body be the one that changes because it's more likely to blend into other stuff, but no. This one's very frustrating because this is a very cool wing design I would like to use, but again, the fact there's so many accent colours that don't match makes it hard to. This is my second choice for the wings because they look very good. But again, the accent colour being so different, I thought I may as well settle for having most of the parts be from similar ones. That's kind of the reality here is you can at most mix two monsters, but not mix parts from every single monster, because the differing accent colours kind of clash a little. Actually, those kind of look kind of good too. But again, accent colours, alas. Let's go back with the chumby little hand wings, because it cute, it be. And actually, let's just go reset our way back over to my save state and double check that this was the one I picked before. Because I know I spent so long I spent so long it is, hooray! This was the one I picked before as it having the green light. I spent so long nitpicking on the colours of this. I'm not sure, because I'm having a hell of a time. As I have played, God knows, 5 hours worth of just being in this monster customization thing, trying to find one that works. And as you can see, I've complained all the reasons why. But I've also said how much of these designs I fucking adore, and how many of them I wish were just, real separate monsters. I could get all of them on the same save file. But, yeah. Wonder if it's possible to, trade your Montana with someone else. That would be cool. That'd be really awesome, actually, if you could, if you could end up, technically, collecting all the Montanas in one game if you could trade with a bunch of different friends. That would be kind of neat. But, we'll go through and we'll check on the next option, because you do get to pick, interesting other options for it, where you get, yay, are you happy with your Montana's appearance? No, but it's what I'm settling for. And yeah, as you can see, you can just select your monster's gender regardless of which options you picked, and also it doesn't change the appearance or anything, which is really good. It's you can have a totally femme-looking character and make them male. You can have a totally masc character and make them female, and you can have monsters that are neutral and make them look like anything you want. You can't pick neutral gender though, but there is a reason for that, because in the world of DQM, neutral gender is superpower, basically. It's actually, I think I remember in the first, the remake of the DQ1 remake, they made it so that neutral gender monsters couldn't appear in the wild anymore. They would only appear as the boss monsters at the end of every dungeon. So basically, every mini-boss, by definition, was neutral gender. Like, being non-binary makes you a boss character. And I love that, to be honest. And also interesting is, like, you can choose your monster's personality. I'm not sure if this actually has an impact on, like, does it have dialogue during the story? Will it actually, like, reflect and change what that is? But it changes their stat build and focus and all that. Because so far, everything we've picked so far hasn't really been determining what... As far as I can tell, it hasn't been determining what skills and stuff your monster learns. It always learns the same skills, as far as I can tell. Excuse me. But you can choose a different stat build to go with it. I think for this one I want to pick enthusiastic. 'Cause I like the idea of this monster being a monster that looks quite creepy, cool, and intimidating, but it's actually very adorable and cute. Yay! This monster will study hard. That's adorable. Oh wait, so did that mean, like, rather than, like, enthusiastic as in, like, excitable and cute, it meant enthusiastic as in, like, a bookworm? Which I guess it's the same thing if you happen to be Dr. Snap. Why is this game reminding me so much of Dr. Snap? Anyway, I've spent so long game blabbing on just the character customization, and I've still gotten no closer to deciding which monster I'm going to go with. I don't know how to end this, except I'm just very excited to play this game, and I have not started playing this game because I am very dumb and stupid, and I keep getting stuck on making decisions. Good night. Babble. See, I bet that scene would be incredibly awkward if you didn't pick the dragon option. A baby that hatches as, like, a large buff adult man.